And then I did this refinance because with Navy Federal, it dropped my interest rate down to the 4.49%. So I saved almost half of what I was paying on interest. I mean, you just can't beat that. That was a ridiculous amount. It saved me, $150 some odd dollars per month. And it just was a much better deal to get this auto loan with Navy Federal. Welcome back to Success with Steven. My name is Steven Smith. On this channel, we discuss all things financial literacy. And recently I was approved for a $40,000 Navy Federal Credit Union auto refinance loan. And I want to give you the step-by-step guide in order to be able to do this as well. Now, when this happened, I actually did apply for a personal loan for $40,000 as well as this refinance loan simultaneously. And I just want to share my experience with you, exactly how this went and how I was able to get approved for this refinance loan. From what I actually gathered with Navy Federal, they do not share specific information about the minimum auto loan eligibility requirements, such as your credit score history or income. And instead, they responded with the following statement: our credit methodology is proprietary, so they won't share that information, which is the reason why I'm sharing this information with you today. I really want to make sure that you have some inkling of what it takes to get approved for these auto loans. I think that based off of my experience with getting multiple approvals for different types of auto loans, that I would definitely be able to provide you that information on this video. So without further ado, let's get right into it. Before you're able to get approved for a refinance auto loan with Navy Federal, you need to be a Navy Federal member. Membership is open to anyone who has served in a branch of the U.S. Armed Forces, that's including active duty or as a reserve. You need to either work for the Department of Defense as a contractor, or you can also be an immediate family member of someone who is eligible for membership. If you have a child that is an ROTC, that is also a way to become a member. You can also call Navy Federal directly, let them know that you had a family member who was in the military and they are deceased. So if you have someone who did serve in one of the armed forces and they are deceased, you can call Navy Federal and also become a member that way. Next, I want to go over a few things that you can do to build a relationship with Navy Federal that will help you get approved for an auto loan or a refinance auto loan. If you guys go back to my previous videos, I have one where I take you step by step where I applied for a Navy Federal auto loan. It was live and you saw me get approved. Now, the reason why I got approved, I do believe, is because of these steps that I took prior to applying. The first thing I did was open up a flagship checking account. There is an entire video that I also have on building your internal score with Navy Federal. I get into a lot of these exact same details. I recommend that you do the same thing. You can open up a money market savings or really any savings account with Navy Federal. This savings account, I believe, will help increase your internal score and approval odds. Now, you want to make sure that you set up ACH transfer, that means direct deposit, for at least $500 to start your account. If you can do more, then I recommend that you deposit as much as you possibly can and build that up. That will greatly improve your chances. Now, if you are someone that has a very low TransUnion score or you have any derogatory information, my recommendation is to wait at least 60 days before applying, and that's at least 60 days at the minimum. Now, if you have a high credit score with no derogatory information, you can skip this step. For those with bad credit or low scores, it's really imperative that you nurture this account. If you can possibly even wait 6 months, that will be the best option for you in order to make sure that you get approved and you also get approved with the best rates and the best terms. Next, I want to go over the refinance auto loan rates. Now, all of these rates are valid as of the time of recording this video. If you're watching this several months down the line, it's a great chance that these rates will look different for you. I always recommend checking the website for the latest update and the latest information to make sure that this is still valid. Always check the website. Now, for the refinance options, they have rates that are starting at 4.09% for new vehicles up to 96 months and 4.99% for used vehicles up to 72 months. There's also currently a $200 bonus for refinancing a vehicle with Navy Federal when you refinance your auto loan from another lender. Now, the auto refinance loan must be at least $5,000. The loan must also be open for at least 60 days. This is the refinance loan. And the first payment has to be scheduled in order for you to be eligible for this $200 offer, which will be credited to the primary applicant's savings account between 61 and 65 days of the loan origination date. Now, this offer may end at any time, and the recipient is solely responsible for any personal tax liability arising out of this incentive. So with this being said, at the time of recording this video, check the description for the date that it was recorded. This may or may not still be around, but I did think that it was imperative for me to mention that to you, because if you didn't know, this may be a promo that you want to take advantage of, and this may benefit you in some way. So I definitely wanted to acknowledge it. Now, for me, the main reason why I wanted to refinance my auto loan is because my interest rate was way too high. So there was a specific incentive that I got when I purchased my brand new vehicle a few months back in November, except I had to purchase it with the dealer in order to get the incentive. Now, the interest rate that they charged me was 8%. So I went ahead and took that, kept the auto loan for 3 months. I really only paid 2 months. And then I did this refinance because with Navy Federal, it dropped my interest rate down to the 4.49%. So I saved almost half of what I was paying on interest. I mean, you just can't beat that. That was a ridiculous amount. It saved me, $150 some odd dollars per month. And it just was a much better deal to get this auto loan with Navy Federal. So with doing that, not only was I able to save money per month on my auto loan, I was able to actually get a lower term as well. So it just worked out so much better for me in the long run. Not to mention, I was able to retain the incentives for getting that vehicle through the dealer, and that actually saved me $5,000 on the car. So overall, I ended up saving a ton of money by doing this while still being able to get the incentive from the dealer. So if you're in a situation like this where your credit is fairly good and you can work with dealers to get the incentive, maybe you want to do that, wait 90 days and then refinance. From what I can tell, you should wait at least 90 days before applying for a refi loan if you just got a new loan from a different lender. Also, if loan rates continue going down, like let's say, for example, 3 to 4 months from now, you can get a loan rate for 3.5%. If you were on the 36th refi for a new vehicle, that might be a good reason for you to actually refinance your car, because you may save a lot of money with that lower interest rate. If your credit score has improved and you think that you can qualify for that lower rate, that also may be a reason for you to refinance your car. Or if you want to shorten or lengthen your loan term, maybe you can get a lower rate but go for a longer term. That might benefit you. It just kind of varies with your situation. So there is no real set reason or set amount of time that you really should wait before refinancing your car with Navy Federal. It just depends on what your situation is. There are also no fees for doing this refi. I do want you to keep in mind that when you refinance your auto loan, it can potentially lower your credit score temporarily. Now, for me, this auto loan was brand new. It was only 3 months old, so it already hit my score, slightly lowered my score. So this one, refinancing it after 90 days, really won't do too much to my score overall. So sometimes it is better just to do it early and get it out the way. Again, it depends on your situation, but overall, it will have a positive impact on my credit score once these on-time payments start to report. You can also submit your credit application in various ways, including by branch. You can walk into any location and do that. By phone, you can call at 1-888-842-6328. You can also apply online. You can log in through your mobile app. That's the other way that you can do it as well. There are just several ways that you can complete this application. If you're not approved for the amount that you requested, then you can review your pre-approved loan offer and see what Navy Federal has responded with. Now, this offer will provide the maximum loan amount that you qualify for with your interest rate and your terms. So once you accept the pre-approved offer, you may be asked for documentation to confirm information you provided. I'll tell you now, I've done this 4 times. I have never been asked for documentation, but because that's listed on Navy Federal's website, I want to disclose that information. From my personal experience, I've never been asked for any documentation. Now, when applying for Navy Federal's refi loan, they will issue you a check for funds. Now, that check can be mailed to your home. You can pick it up at a branch. It will not be sent directly to the actual lender. You're going to have to do that. So I paid $20, and I think they actually waived the fee. It's an option that says $20 for you to get that check faster, but I believe it actually got waived for me. I didn't see it ever come out of my account, and I think they sent me a letter about that. But let's say that it does get waived and you're able to get this next day. Immediately after I did it, I sent the check to the lender. After I endorsed it, I signed the back of it. I added some information. Your lender is technically supposed to send the title over to Navy Federal. Now, when I checked my app, it looks like my particular lender was going to send the title to me. In that situation, I'm going to now have to contact Navy Federal again, and I will need to send the title over to them so that they can become the lien holder of this vehicle. They will send that information to the DMV. I have to sign a document and then send it back to Navy Federal. And then this entire process is complete with refinancing. If all of that sounded kind of confusing, I understand. Navy Federal will send you a letter in the mail that explains all of this. So they will assist you in completing that process. Just know that the whole thing can take around like 90 days to complete. Now, the auto loan pre-approval does require a hard pull. When they say pre-approval, they mean that you get the check and that you can now pay off the vehicle and you got pre-approved for that. You still will receive a hard inquiry from TransUnion. Now, let's talk about a few data points when you're trying to get a refinanced auto loan with Navy Federal. They will pull from TransUnion. Your FICO score, my recommendation is 680 plus. Now, it can be 660. I just recommend 680 plus. And Navy Federal themselves don't disclose any sort of minimum credit. So this isn't even like a real criteria. I just want to be transparent about that. This is my personal recommendation. Now, my score at the time of application was a 756, FICO 8 TransUnion score. I don't know if they pulled a different one for auto lending, but this is what my score was at the time. My credit age has fluctuated in the past few months from opening new accounts. It's now 1 year and 4 months. It keeps going lower because I keep opening new loans. So, it's going to fluctuate and you want to be aware of that. I had one hard inquiry at the time and my credit card utilization overall was 12%. Now, for additional data points, there is no documentation that was requested of me at all. However, you'll need to just keep in mind that it's a possibility. Out of 4 times, it's happened to me 0. So I want to say that, but if there's one person in the comments that they were the outlier, you want to say that for that one occasion where it could potentially have happened. So let's move on to the next step. Now, if you're ready, it's time to apply. I'm going to walk you through the step-by-step process of filling out the refinanced auto loan with Navy Federal. Currently, we are on the Navy Federal website. I went to the refi rate section. I also wanted to show you this $200 bonus that's going on right now. Once again, this may not be available for you. It depends on the time you're watching this video. But for me right now at this time, this is still available. It is a $200 bonus when you refinance your auto loan from another lender. All right. Other than that, we have the rates here, which you should know by now are subject to change. And then you might want to read the new vehicle and used vehicle details so you understand exactly what rates that you're getting based off of Navy Federal's criteria of what is new and what is used. So always go over the disclosures and definitions. And then I would check the refi calculator. Make sure it's feasible, you can afford this, and you're actually saving money by doing this, or you're getting some sort of benefit. That's always my recommendation. Check this out before you finish the application. All right, let's go to apply now, and we're going to sign into your account. All right, so if you were on the same screen as me, the refi screen, click apply now. It will automatically take you to apply for auto loan. So that's where it's taking me at this time. And when you choose your auto loan type, just click on refinance. And it lets you know before you can continue, you need the current lender information. That means the name, the phone number, your loan number, and then you also want the 10 or 14 day payoff amount. If you don't know that and your lender has a mobile app, check out the mobile app. That's where I got mine. It showed me my 10 to 14 day payoff amount completely in full. And then it also gave me my VIN number, which you can get off of your insurance, but it also gave me my account number. I was able to pull up a statement. You also want the exact miles on your vehicle. Once again, if it's a newer vehicle, you probably have an app for it, or you can run to your car right now, write down those miles, and then you also want to state where you will register the vehicle. Now, once you've gathered all that information, you're going to enter the lender's name, the lender's phone number, your loan number, the 10 to 14 day payoff amount. Once again, you may want to call, contact them. However you need to get that information, make sure that it's valid, because if you mess this part up, you may be in a bad situation where I've done something similar. And when that happens, you will not be able to get an auto loan again if you're approved with Navy Federal for 90 days. So if you end up putting the wrong amount by accident and you have to pay off more, you either one, have to not sign the promissory note and cancel that loan, then wait 90 days to reapply. Or secondly, you'll have to pay out of your own pocket to make sure that the payoff amount matches. Those are your options, so please make sure to pay attention. You'll also need your vehicle identification number, your VIN number. We probably all know how to find that, but if not, on the app, on the website, on your insurance card, inside your vehicle, plenty of ways to find this information. All right, so I entered a VIN number from a car dealer for just demonstration purposes, but once it's verified, it'll look like this, and then it'll show your vehicle, it'll show your vehicle's trim, and then you want to enter the exact mileage. So if it's like 1,000 miles for a brand new car, then you want to enter that in. You also want to enter the state in which you will register the vehicle. Now, this is my desired loan amount. I'm just doing this because it was very similar to my payoff amount. And then we're going to select the loan terms. Now, remember, 36 months will give you the lowest APR, but of course, higher monthly payments, right? So very high payments, but you'll save more on the interest. Now, if something like that isn't, feasible, something like this may look a lot better, where you're paying 4.49% potentially at the lowest, with a low payment of $749.25. Or if you want to see 72 months, it does make the APR go up a little bit, 4.79, but now your payments are $643.60. So on and so forth, where 96 months would be the highest amount. But look at what that does to the interest. It's 7.59%. Even though you have an estimated monthly of $560.89, roughly it's only like maybe $100 from where you were. A little bit more. But you'll want to play with this and just consider what's most important to you. I like paying less interest, and unless you have a plan to pay off this $40,000 loan before all of that interest would accrue, then the best thing to do is pick the term that's like in the mid-range, okay? Now, after you've entered that information, it's going to confirm your personal information, your name, your address, your email, things like that. Then you'll want to enter your employment status. If you have a private employer, I recommend doing that. Don't ever use unemployed or self-employed. Please don't use that option. So you'll want to enter whoever your employer is. Then you'll want to enter the length of time employed. Hopefully you've been employed for at least 5 years. I recommend using longer periods of time if that applies to you. And then your housing type and your annual income. So you'll want to enter your annual income before taxes. And then you'll also want to enter your housing type, whether you own, free and clear, you own and pay a mortgage, or you're renting, or you're not responsible for housing. Maybe you live with a family member or a friend and you don't have to pay anything right now. Now, if you do have a co-borrower, then you can add their information here, put the details along with yours, and you both will be responsible for paying off the loan. So just know, if the person that you're co-signing for does not pay, or if the person who's co-signing for you and you don't pay, they will be responsible, and they will also see this on their credit. So just be very mindful about that. Now, I put a lot of random information here, but once you go to review, it's going to ask you to review all of this information, your lender's name, the phone number, the loan, everything. You'll want to pay attention to all of that. Double check, make sure everything is correct and you're not missing any details, okay? Double check it. Now, this is the point where I'm going to stop in the application process. Reason being, after this, you will get a hard pull from TransUnion. Once the decision is made, they will either one, approve you instantly, or two, they're going to tell you that it's under review. For me, I've been under review for 3 out of my 4 loan applications. Each time I was still approved. All right. The only time that I was not instantly approved was when the amount that I was requesting was around $30,000. I don't know if that's applicable, but when you get your decision, they will ask you about your loan preferences. This will entail you picking, whether you want gap insurance. It will entail whether you want to have automatic payments. If you do, they may give you an APR rate discount. All of those things will be there. You will then receive your confirmation and then you'll be completely done. Now, this right here is my application, and this is the application number, original number, and this is the auto loan amount, and that it was $40,847.38. You're going to get a message from Navy Federal in order to sign your promissory note. They can't process this until you actually sign this, so make sure that you do when you're notified. Just make sure that you're aware and you sign your promissory note so that everything goes through smoothly. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you have any questions about refinancing your auto loan with Navy Federal, please leave them in the comments below. Also, drop your data points, drop your experience. Give people some things that they can actually use because maybe they may be in a similar situation and your data points could really help them out. Thank you guys so much for watching this video, and you have a wonderful day.